some reflections on the Mission Impossible series that I had. These are not like actual reflections on the series that much. These are more like thoughts that I had while watching the show. Well, the movies, not kind of any deep analysis on this or like some video essay type analysis on every concern regarding the Mission Impossible series. It's just the thoughts that I had while watching these movies. And then maybe they are not even like related to the plot that much. But that is what this video is about. So, in the first movie, there's this moment where Tom Cruise, well, Ethan Hunt is escaping, and then he was kind of supposed to meet his boss or something like this, the one who gave him the mission, at this kind of secret place. And he gets there, walking, finds the building and all of this, and kind of enters, does these things, like goes carefully, then breaks this light, and spreads kind of the glass here, and turns off this light, right? And I thought of this like when thinking about myself, right? I was thinking kind of like, damn, this guy is moving so surely through the world. This, like in this American spy secret agent type movies, right? The American agent, in this case Ethan Hunt, is like, this is a theme of all the movies, right? That this Ethan Hunt guy is so fucking capable, so fucking he can do the impossible things, right? Everything that he does turns out more or less in that way, maybe out of sheer luck, but it always kind of turns out in the way that he wanted in the end, right? So, and the way he moves is this way, right? So he breaks this light and spreads these things, and then it turns out that he hears the people coming in because of these cracks, right? And I thought it was interesting, right? Because for example, he knows what building to enter perfectly. He has all this information in his head, and I thought it was interesting, right? It is kind of, on the one hand, it is very agentic, right? You are doing everything that you want and all of this, but on the other side of it, there is this sense in which you are just not doing anything, right? Sorry, not doing anything, but you are just not moving with curiosity, right? You are not being willing to learn about everything, right? You already are like putting your will for things to happen on the world instead of learning how the world kind of works. I would say, I don't know. This is kind of what I thought of when watching this scene. Maybe it doesn't have that vibe in the movie, right? Because in the movie he clearly has to like get out or whatever, and here when he's like looking at all this data or whatever, right? He's in this safe house for a reason, and I didn't catch that really well, but yeah. But it was interesting. Then the next thought that I had was watching. Well, I had more thoughts, you could say, but the next thought that I annotated was that the good ending in the movies is always kind of like meeting in a public place, right? You can see children flying kites and playing around, right? So this is kind of the representation of the happy ending, right? This is what life is about, you could say, right? This is what the goal of these characters is to get to, right? They are all seeking this thing, but they are kind of burdened by their job of having to be in a Mission Impossible, right? Then in the next movie, I think the third one or the fourth one, he is in vacation, like climbing some shit, and he gets delivered some package, right? And at the end of the movie, he was supposed to be on vacation there, right? So it's like he says, "You're supposed to." The boss tells him, "You're supposed to be localizable or something, right? We're supposed to know where you are, and then it's like then it wouldn't be a vacation. And at the end of the movie, Hunt is going on vacation again because he's off the mission, and he is like, okay, I should go on vacation. Right? So he's going to tell the boss where he is. Okay, I'm going to on vacation. I'm going to giving you the details, and the boss is like, no, don't tell me anything. This is supposed to be a vacation, right? So it has that kind of tie in to the beginning, but it's also kind of what the show is supposed to. I guess always the beginning and the conclusion are always these things of the most important thing in life are these moments, right? These are the moments that are important, right? Not important, but like the goal. They are not what the movie considers important because it's not what they show during the whole movie, right? The whole movie is like Ethan Hunt doing epic shit, right? That's epic. But it's like the goal for the epic shit is supposed to be just chilling, right? It's literally just chilling with Bay on on the park, watching some kids fucking roaming around or whatever, right? And I thought kind of this contrast is interesting, right? It's like I could be chilling with Bay, right? I don't have a Bay, but like it's not like I can't be fucking Ethan Hunt, right? Working for the FBI or whatever the fuck, right? I am not trained in like 27 martial arts, or I don't have like a hacking brain, these things, right? But I am like everyone here, everyone in the park is fucking chilling with their partners and like bringing their kids around, right? It's like everyone in the park is creating like the happiness. That is what it's supposed to bring, right? That is like the story that the movie ends on. This is the good ending. This is the good ending. And I think that's kind of supposed to show that they saved the world, right? So Ethan Hunt saved the world, or the team saved the world, the IMF saved the world. And this is what they saved. But to me, because of the recurrence of the movies and because of the dumb factor of the danger, right? It's always like some nuclear shit. In the last one, it's like some dumb AI or some shit, right? Like this. It's always like in the last 4 movies or something, like the IMF itself is always like put into question, right? They are always like the CIA is versus the IMF. So it's like there are all these internal troubles. So you're like, okay, even if you win and you save the world, I don't buy the story, right? The story is so dumb that you don't actually believe that that's how the world actually works, right? In these early movies, they show this, and you can maybe believe that, okay, this movie is about kind of a toxic medicine or something like this, right? So they saved the world out of having the flu or something like this, right? A super toxic flu, which, fair, okay, viable, you could say. This is some hyper-villain shit, and there is some hyper-hero shit to counteract it, and it worked. Okay, I could buy it, but even within this movie, I was already thinking, okay, so this is the goal, right? So if you can avoid the hyper-villain shit or the hyper-hero shit, and you can just live this life, that's better, right? But in the later movies, it's like, it's almost like the message is almost the hyperhero shit is so fucking dumb because it is almost like it's like one step away from being the hyperhero, the hypervillain shit. Right? It's for some teams, it's like literally undistinguishable who is who, right? And they are always internally connected in some fucking evil way, and they're always like infiltrating each other, right? So it's all this fucking mess that makes you wonder, like, okay, so in the first movies, there was some kind of, you could say, justification. There was some kind of justification for the thing, for the IMF. But in the later ones, it's not even, like, there is no justification. The whole movie is kind of telling you that, okay, this is why we need the IMF. But the end feeling is like, no, but you were right in the beginning. Right? The beginning when you were questioning the fucking IMF because they all they do is like get lucky and save the world luckily. Is like that is like the whole point, and that is actually what they do, right? It's some kind of game that the audience is supposed to be kind of in on, but you're like in on it, right? You know that it is this fucking dumb organization because of this, right? They are supposed to be like the most elite organization, is the fucking dumbest one. I think that's kind of what the message is telling in the end, the movie, right? That is the actual message the movie is telling. So I don't know. It feels like a strange message to give. Then I wanted to talk about straight up to the last movie, right? Because, for example, movie 3, I don't even remember what 3 was about, but movie 4, 5, and 6, and now even 7 were like so fucking dumb. 4 is Ghost Protocol, then there is 1, there is Fallout, then there is this 2023 one. I don't know. They were so fucking dumb and they were like so convoluted within each other that I thought I didn't really like the movies. Right? No, they were fun to watch, and when the stunts are real, it's cool action, you could say. But like the plot to me doesn't make sense. But so I'm going to be focusing on the 8th one. I think this is Dead Reckoning 2023, and I thought that at least this one had like some, I guess, interesting pointers or something, which were kind of this AI thing. So now like AI is the enemy, and I think that in trying to tell this story, it actually like points at some interesting, like it's kind of meta talking about the points where it's actually talking, right? Which I thought it was interesting. For example, here they are always using like this face replicating machine, right? And when you see the face here, right, you're like, damn, this is kind of supposed to show in the movie, right? In the movie, it's supposed to show like the power of technology and how epic technology is because it can like replicate this human face, right? So like the movies, and this is throughout all the series, right? All the series is based on this technology, like IMF technology is fucking epic, right? This is kind of the movie plot. That's essentially what the movies are about, right? You can break glass using the glass breaking thing. You can like throw yourself from a building using like the cool ropes, and also like Ethan Hunt has big balls, and technology is fucking dope, right? He has like this wrist thing that tells him when he's being loud, but he has to fucking throw himself through the fucking tube and falls just about when he's about to hit the floor, right? So the stunts are cool. So Ethan Hunt, aka Tom Cruise, is cool, but also the technology, this invented technology, and the hacking. Everyone is hacking everything, and the CIA and the IRS and the NSA are all watching you, and they all have satellites that can like watch you through the fucking walls and sense where you are to an accuracy of like 1 milliseconds or whatever the fuck, right? And the hacker is the all-powerful god entity almost. That is kind of like the message of the movies, right? This tech is fucking dope, but when it actually comes down to it, right, the actual tech that is fucking dope is just fake. So what it is just art, right? It's like the art, aka the human element, is what is kind of being put on display, right? They are like creating out of thin air these fucking cool shit things, which are just made up, right? They are like creative ideas from some people, right? Wouldn't it be fucking dope, like this kind of smoking a joint idea? Wouldn't it be fucking dope if your watch told you the noise levels and you could hack into NSA with that, right? That's kind of what this is, right? And also, wouldn't it be fucking dope if you could print a face and then they have probably a human, right, actually making the face that is so impressive, right? If this is real, this is either CGI, so it is a part of interesting technology, right? But it's probably more. If it's a face mask, right? In the old days, it was a face mask, so it was like they were like actually sculpted things. Probably they were not actually masks, but they were like sculpted to show this, like to show that they have printed it. They actually sculpted. That is my guess, right? So this is art, right? This is what an actual artist has made, right? That is like this interesting thing, right? It's not actually technology being epic. It's just either an artist being epic or the mix of artist plus now CGI tech being cool, which is kind of interesting, right? Then here they talk a lot about being like, well, then I will talk about this later. So here, 147.
What difference does that make?
Yeah, let me put the context.
You don't even know me.
What difference does that make?
Yeah, so he's trying to recruit her into joining the IMF, I guess you could say, right? So she's a thief, and he's trying to make her join the IMF to save the world or whatever, right? But that comes with the costs of being in the IMF, right? Which is being a ghost. So I thought of this, what difference does it make, the do you even know me thing, right? And I don't know. See, this was kind of this was something that I thought it was interesting that they explored in the movie, right? This is a theme that it's interesting, for example, because this is kind of what I was talking about the good ending in the Mission Impossible 1 and the kites thing is, right? This is kind of the sacrifice of not being able to enjoy that life. This is talking about those themes, right? This is actually saying, okay, you get this, but you lose that. Or like your only option now is to be a ghost. And how that shapes kind of how Ethan Hunt works in a team, right? It's like he cannot, like, this is his way of trusting people, you could say, right? He only trusts other ghosts, and not knowing the past of someone or these things are what kind of shapes his themes, right? It's like they know each other's pasts and they don't care about them, right? They are willing to give everything for this person that they barely even know, right? It's like they know about this past and everyone is kind of hiding their past because it is kind of sketchy or whatever. And everyone knows that they are kind of hiding stuff, but even then they still trust the other person to like trust their others with their own life. That is kind of what this movie talks about. And what I thought it was interesting that it kind of tackles it that way and they have like these conversations. And yeah, you wrote some things. For example, in Spain, you have this sentence which is like la confianza da asco, right? So trust kind of modern relationships, because when you trust someone, you start like, for example, taking your shoes off, not taking your shoes off in their house because fuck it. It's like now I'm like in my own house, and in my own house I'm kind of rude, so I can be rude in your house too because I'm not a guest anymore, right? I am your friend. Therefore, like trust kind of modern shit. Or like now that we trust each other, I can like be less polite and I can like start talking trash and all of these things, right? So it's like this kind of trust sucks. And I think it is interesting, right? How this kind of sentiment, I think I thought it related to me, right? Because also there is this feeling of knowing someone even if you don't know or barely know their past, right? I think this is a common phenomenon, right? It's somehow, and these movies kind of, I guess they are playing into that feeling, right? And I think this is maybe even more present now in the internet and all of this, right? And I think my videos are a way of this, or the videos that I watch all the time are a way of this, right? Of based on short presentations or something, trying to get the character of someone. And yeah, I think there is something to it that is interesting. I think that feeling is something real, right? And this movie, I think, portrays it well. Well, not sure if well or not, but it portrays it, and I think it was something that I noticed, and it was interesting, right? And this feeling of also related to this of giving everything for a stranger, or like feeling you know someone even if you don't know an answer of their past, and this feeling of chosen family, right? I think they are like powerful archetypes, you could say, or tropes. I don't know. They are powerful tropes, and I thought it was interesting that they covered it in this setting of being fucking super agents or whatever, right? And then the next thing I had related in this is like this being a ghost, right? I think a lot about this being a ghost, and I think, could I be one? I fantasize a lot about these things, right? Could I be a ghost? Could I fucking disappear? For a lot of reasons, right? I think my path currently is the opposite, right? I am making fucking videos on the internet. I think I have like I am probably the least operationally secure person in the world. Everything that I've put in the internet is recorded for the past 10 years and still up. I don't like delete stuff. I even archive my own shit so that it remains. I backup shit so I have it. I don't know. I think my identity is kind of easy to find. I don't like actively talk about it, but I think it's super easy to find with minimal effort. And yeah, even though that is like my path currently, right? So I don't think I can be a ghost now, or if I could be a ghost. I fantasize a lot with this, right? I fantasize a lot about disappearing forever, right? Or like starting anew someplace else. I wrote here several reasons because I don't want to talk about every reason why I fantasize a lot about this, but I do. Like there is something that appeals to me about what these people do, right? So they pretend to be other people, right? Hi. What's up, Blitzer, aka Amix? For example, in this train, she's like infiltrated it and she's like pretending to be another person. Yeah, it's in this point. In this point, she's pretending to be the other character. Like this is the robber who is pretending to be this arms dealer, broker, or whatever. And there are like a lot of parts like this where they use the masks, or sometimes they pretend to be other people in just other settings, right? So they are in a hotel, or they are like infiltrating this. Yeah. They are kind of pretending to be another person or traveling on another passport. All of these things I find really appealing. And yeah, maybe I don't know why. Maybe it's because they are actors, or actors making these kind of movies are cool, right? Because they are acting about acting, which is, I guess, it has a couple of layers on it, and it's cool because of that. Yeah, and I don't know. I think this is all I wanted to say. So this is the end of the video. You can watch another video. I made a couple of yesterday, but they are talking about me personally. I have thoughts on Succession, so if you want to watch that video, I might leave it the first video about Succession that I made here, for example.